Okay, we got all our questions for today, but let's go to question number 5. So, and I have an announcement for you guys real quick. Let me do this before we get to Nao's question. This is about a ministry. So you guys know about the earthquake in Syria, and there's a lot of people that are absolutely devastated. It's overwhelming, the difficulty, the suffering, the displacement, the poverty, the pain, all that. Well, there's a ministry called Restoring Faith that I've talked to you guys about before. They work in Jordan, and they're helping refugees who've fled to Jordan from ISIS. But what they've done is there's a couple there whose names are Osama and Abir, and they're heading out. They're actually in Syria now, and they're basically just giving food gift cards away to people to just help them have food because they've been displaced. They're in poverty. It's pretty horrific. Largely Christians that they're helping, but they're helping whoever they can. And in some cases, they're just giving them cash, okay, because that's just what they need. I actually wholeheartedly support that. Personally, I'm like, oh, good. There's times where, you just need to give somebody money, especially when their entire home has been destroyed. So I'm excited about that. And I think the biggest issue with charities that I have, and you probably have too, is you just don't know who to trust. Like, I'm pretty skeptical by nature. I just don't know who to trust. And when I donate to a charity, is the money really going to help people, or is it mostly going to feed the advertising campaign of that ministry? So, or to pay for the executive fees and all the overhead. 100% of this money goes right to helping people. All of it does. And it's a super small ministry, Restoring Faith. Super small ministry. They don't have that many supporters. I just happen to know the couple personally, and I trust them. So I think they're doing real work and really in the name of the Lord. So if you're interested in looking for a way to help and one ministry, at least that I think, if I'm being bamboozled, I don't know about it. I think I trust this couple. I've known them and I've known their family for a while now, before they ever even told me what they were doing. So that's about that. Let's go to question number 5. This is coming in from Tinao, who says, how much do my efforts influence situations when God is sovereign and in control? For example, my hard work versus God blessing my business, or improving my health to extend my life versus God setting the number of my days. There's no real way for me to know how to answer this question, because your life is extremely complicated. And so your life is just super complicated. Like, I hope this makes sense. Your effort to live longer. So let's say you eat healthy and you exercise and you try to get good rest, and you don't have bad habits that make you unhealthy. That is most likely going to extend your life quite a bit. What if you get in a car accident tomorrow and I'm like, eating healthy will extend your life, and then the Lord has a car accident, whether it's God's agenda or plan, or if it's just whatever happens. Maybe you just didn't drive good, or I don't know. We don't know what goes on in the spiritual things. So how do you weigh the difference between what is God's sovereign will versus how much my effort? All I know is this: is we do everything we can in our efforts, right? We do all we can with our efforts, and we say, Lord, I hope you'll bless that. And ultimately, we trust in God's plan, His agenda, what He's going to do. We just rest and trust in that. I like what James says. He's like, hey, don't say I'm going to do business and go to this city and that city and do this. Instead, say, Lord willing, we'll do this and we'll do that. So ultimately, you don't control your life, but you definitely influence your life heavily. Ultimately, God has veto power over anything and everything you do and knows all that's going on in the world. But if we use here's a danger, major danger. If we use God's sovereignty, the fact that He's in control of our lives, as an excuse to not work hard, to not plan, to not pursue with godly ambition good things, and then we're like, well, we'll see if the Lord blesses it, but we're being lazy and we're being irresponsible, we're not putting our full effort. That is don't think that the success or failure of what you're doing is just, you don't have an effect on it. I just think that ultimately you have to just trust in God's will and His ultimate plan, and His sovereignty, even in the midst of the effect you have. But yeah, this YouTube channel, I've put crazy amounts of time and energy and work and effort into growing this YouTube channel. But I don't really feel like I want to give myself credit for how it has grown and how the ministry is reaching people, because so many things are out of my control. Like I did everything I could, but so many other things are totally out of my control. Like I don't control the algorithms on YouTube, and I don't control my own health or those who decided to support the ministry and be able to continue doing what we're doing, that sort of thing. I didn't control that. I happened to go to a church where my pastor was supportive of me, even though I was full-time in ministry, doing this as well, which most churches, I think that could have been a conflict to them, but he had a heart for it too. So like things like that, yeah, you do everything you can. I like the old phrase from Keith Green, do your best, pray it's blessed, Jesus takes care of the rest. So you're not off the hook, but you don't claim like you're actually controlling everything. You just give God credit.